This is life's dream number 43. Plant love. I wonder, are plants supportive of one another? Do they photosympathize? Let's go see Corky.
I love it. Well, I was going to play a tune, but you know what? I think we should watch that again. let me get it set up. Oh man, leave it on the black this time for the last of the sound.
This is life's dream number 43. Plant love. I wonder, are plants supportive of one another? Do they photosympathize? Let's go see Corky.
Okay. Hey, if we can't have fun. So, let's... Insecurity makes me, I'll start there. Insecurity makes me feel so unsure. Insecurity leaves me totally insecure. I know it's in my mind, but I feel it in my bones. Insecurity don't so leave me alone. I know it's in my mind, but I feel it in my bones. Insecurity just so leave me alone. Insecurity. Got the best of me. Insecurity. My brain is twisted and my stomach's in knots. It's not that I'm paranoid, it's just that I worry a lot. My head is buried in the sand, my feet are kicking in the air. Insecurity, I can't see you, but I know you're there. My head is buried in the sand, my feet are kicking in the air. Insecurity, I can't see you, but I know you're there. Insecurity. Looky, what it doing to me? Insecurity. I'm so afraid that everything's gonna go haywire. Out of the microwave oven into the frying pan fire. Well, as a stockbroker, it's a familiar ring, and on the market floor, you can hear them sing. As a stockbroker, it's a familiar ring, and on the market floor, you can hear them sing. Insecurity. Everyone. Is there any cure for me? Insecurity. everything's gonna go haywire. Out of the microwave oven into the frying pan fire. As a stockbroker, it's a familiar grin. When on the market floor, you can hear them sing. As a stockbroker, it's a familiar grin. And on this market floor, you can hear them sing. Insecurity. Is there any cure for me? Insecurity. Story time!
Oh my goodness. Story time.
Story time.
Woo!
Oh boy, we got a whopper for you.
Yes, we do.
Oh man.
It's going to be a good one.
Give me a minute here, folks. Cousins?
Cousins, yes, indeed. One and all. Welcome. Welcome. Do you have your coffee this morning? Are you awake now? That woke me up.
I have to blow my nose.
Uh-oh. Yes, blow his nose. Oh my goodness. Well, let's see. We have an amazing story for you today, and I can't wait for you to hear it. It's my favorite story. Maybe he's making a latte. Who knows? Could be a latte.
Wow, that felt good. Story time. Let's get close. We're gonna just get cozy here. Come get cozy. Here we go. The fellow was playing keyboard in a chanting session at a yoga retreat in New York. And I felt he had extraordinary flair for allowing individuality to flow while supporting the direction of the chant, and he offered a pure expression of joy. I always felt that it was important to communicate support for an artist when the moment calls, because I know myself that a little tap on the back with "keep up the great work" can help toward removing any possible insecurity and replace it with a bit of encouragement. And it's good for an artist to have the flames of fearlessness ablaze, which can help one dig deep to offer their best without falling for the opinions of others, which is certainly a distraction we all face to some degree. I just went up to this fellow without any introduction and said, "Thank you, I loved what you did. Thank you." Turned around and left for Chicago. When I got back to Chicago, a copy of Jazz Now magazine had just come in the mail. I never held a copy in my hand in my life, but I was looking forward to reading it because they had just reviewed a chamber blues performance at Yoshi's Jazz Club in Oakland, California. So they sent me a copy of the magazine. As I flipped through the pages of the magazine, I noticed a face I recognized. Holly, look at this. Isn't this the fellow that was playing on that chant in New York? If it's him, he's actually a famous jazz musician. I think if this is him, his name is Kenny Werner, but, we weren't sure about it. It just seemed so unlikely. Right at that moment, the phone rang. I am not kidding. I'm sitting there holding the magazine. We receive a call from a concert presenter from the Widener Center in Green Bay, Wisconsin. It was Joy Brown. She has since moved to other places, and now she's in Washington, D.C. I was still holding the copy of Jazz Now magazine in my hand when Joy Brown said, "When you come here in February with Chamber Blues, would you be willing to do a special jam session in the lobby of the auditorium after your concert with some students? It would be led by a player who is arriving that evening to direct a residency with us in the following days. It would be just you and him and the students. His name is Kenny Werner." I responded, "Absolutely." Absolutely. In fact, I'm reading an article by Kenny Werner right now, about Kenny Werner. So, I said to Holly, we're going to find out in February if this fellow at the chant was actually Kenny Werner. The jam session didn't involve anyone in the group. It was more of a second thought by Joy Brown, so I never brought this up to any people in Chamber Blues. At a January Chamber Blues concert, my cellist, Jill Kading, told me she forgot to bring along my Christmas gift that she had wanted to give me in December, and she forgot it for the third time. She said this was the perfect gift for me. She was very excited about it, and she insisted she would remember to bring it to Green Bay in February. Jill handed me the gift during the sound check at the Widener Center in February. Knowing how I was wrapped up in the preparations of the day and knowing the challenges of sound check, she instructed me to open the gift after the concert. At some point, the unopened gift ended up in my hotel room. As I stood in the lobby after the concert waiting to meet Kenny, Joy Brown told me that Kenny's flight was late, probably because of the snowstorm, and so the jam session had been canceled, but he is still expected to arrive sometime tonight. I was excited to meet Kenny Werner and also see if he was actually the guy I met at the chant. So I was really disappointed not to meet him then. So when I went back to my room, I called Kenny and I left a message. Hi, Kenny. This is Corky Siegel. I was going to jam with you at the Widener Center today. I'm in room 231. Give me a call and I will meet you tomorrow for the chant. So I figured if he was the fellow at the chant, he would know what I was talking about. If he wasn't the fellow at the chant, he wouldn't have any idea what I was talking about. Perfect. The next morning, Holly and I were having breakfast with my whole crew downstairs in the restaurant of the hotel. The sound tech, the string quartet, the tabla player. There were 8 of us sitting around the table. Jill, my cellist, asked me if I opened the present yet. I told her I would go back up to my room and get it and open it in front of everyone. While I was upstairs, I thought I'd give another call to Kenny Werner. Again, it was a voicemail, so I left another message. Hey, Kenny, this is Corky Siegel again. Why don't you join us for breakfast? The synchronicity of this next scene was perfectly. The synchronicity of this next scene was perfectly choreographed by the gods of Kismet. I'm sitting at the table with 8 team members. They knew nothing about the chanting session in New York or the keyboard player I complimented. They knew nothing about the photograph of Kenny Werner in Jazz Now magazine or the timely request from Joy Brown that I jam with Kenny. And certainly they had no idea that a famous jazz musician was in our hotel in Green Bay, Wisconsin at this very moment. So far, all of these unsuspecting travelers at the hotel breakfast, all of the focus was on me opening the gift. Just as I was removing the last wrapping from the gift, this fella was walking halfway down the spiral staircase when the gift was revealed. It was Effortless Mastery, a book by Kenny Werner. The timing could not have been more precise. I yelled up toward the staircase, "Hey, Kenny, could you sign this book for me?" Kenny smiled and said, "Sure," and came over and signed the book. Imagine my crew on a roller coaster at the very top, ready to drop 20 stories, and they only just then realized they were on a roller coaster because they had just awoken. Imagine the look on their faces, the open mouths, the open eyes. They fell off their chairs,
first in utter silence and then rolling on the floor, laughing in ecstasy out loud, never to regain a sense of control over their lives from this moment on. I exaggerate slightly, but you get the idea. There's 3 different perspectives here. From my team, from me, and from Kenny. 3 entirely different experiences. From the perspective of my team, I just received a gift from my cellist. And as I opened it, at the very same time, out of nowhere, the author of the book comes down the stairs to sign it. In Green Bay, Wisconsin, of all places. From my perspective, the author, who I now realize I met at a chant in New York and appeared in a magazine at the same time as me receiving a call from the presenter asking if I will perform with him, he shows up to join me for breakfast. The book I'm opening as a gift, I didn't know what the gift was. The book I'm opening turns out to be written by him. He didn't know anything, I didn't know anything, and as the book is revealed, there the author is in Green Bay, Wisconsin, to sign it. From Kenny's perspective, he thought this was all planned. He probably figured, well, everyone knew he was coming to Green Bay and Jill bought his book so that he could sign it. It was all planned. I guess it was all planned. That's the story.
Pretty wild.
You wanted to say something?
Well,
Yeah.
there's more. Wait, there's more.
Okay, yeah. So the synchronicities began. That was the first one. It was unbelievable. I'll just give you a couple of examples. Shortly thereafter, Holly and I are in San Francisco. For our rare San Francisco trips, Holly likes staying at this very small
boutique
hotel that is actually where Vertigo was filmed. And it's a more quiet part of town than downtown. This time, we'd be staying there for one night. As we ride the small elevator to go up to our 3rd floor room, we noticed a poster. One night only. Kenny Werner.
Guess who was in the hotel?
He was performing in the club connected to the hotel. So, of course, we went to the performance. And Kenny and I and Holly were trying to figure out who was following who here. A few weeks later, I was to perform at a harmonica convention in St. Louis. We arrived to our hotel at about 9 p.m. the evening before. I was very tired. But Toots Thielemans was performing at the hotel. And I just couldn't miss this. Never heard Toots. It would be a sin if I didn't at least allow a couple minutes for me to hear some of his performance. As we approached the double doors, you hear it coming. As we approached the double doors of the hall, some nice person behind the doors from inside the hall held one door open for us. Kenny! What are you doing here? He said, well, I'm the accompanist, the piano accompanist for Toots. Would you like to meet him? And Holly wanted me to tell this part of the story. That he introduces me to Toots, and Toots says, Toots, this is Corky Siegel. Corky, this is Toots. And Toots looks at me like this. Toots Thielman. I'm so excited about meeting him, right? And he looks at me like this with this angry face. And he goes, and he says the whole word. I'm just going to give you the initials. UMF. And I'm going, and then he starts laughing. So what he's talking about is when I was going to play in Geneva, Switzerland, originally they wanted Toots to play, but they sent him the score of my piece, Street Music, and when he looked at it, it was blank.
The harmonica.
The harmonica part was blank.
Parts are all blank.
Yeah, mostly blank. And plus, he listened to the record, and I play a much different style than Toots. And he said to them, those guys, he said, I can't do this. So they ended up hiring me. It was 9 days of performance, and we're going to tell you that story another day. So that's sort of what he's talking about, So it was really great. So anyway, the story of Kenny Werner has continued. It involves Ernie Watts. It involves Chi Shren. It involves it's just like such a tangled web we weave. And it goes on, and it continues, and it's going to be continued, and I have more stories. But now, you can go to quirkymusic.com/stream. The reason I talk slow and with these spaces is because I'm 76. And as you know, my memory is a thing of the past. So I'm just, you're watching someone, an old guy, just trying to hold it together, okay? So, my website, what's my website? quirkymusic.com/stream.
Much love, everyone. Hang in there.